By the time you go from UI to the Obafemi University, it even becomes even much more shameful. And I'm so ashamed because that is also my alma mater. And you would expect that a university also of a OAU standard, that what you'll be hearing from the university, will be how to improve conditions of learning, how to what research, what inventions, is the university interested in and piloting. Not that a university will now be concerned about whether its students are wearing bra or not, or whether they are wearing bomb short or not. It's really very, very ridiculous. And it shows the character of those who have found themselves into the leadership of our nation's university. These are just pious how do I put it? These are just fraudulent moralists, who wants to use public morality to try and prevent students from being able to express themselves. Young people are young people for a reason. The period where you are young is a period of personal self-expression. And interestingly, there's nobody who is a professor in the University of OAU today who did not also pass through that stage, who did not also self-express themselves. It was in the period in the 60s and 70s, for instance, when the likes of there was a period, for instance, in the 50s, when the likes of Professor Wole Soyinka and co were young, and they formed the Pirate Confraternity, they formed the Kegite Club, I think so. So when you look at the history of the older generation and the kind of the kind of tolerance that society had for them and the kind of things they did in the process of self-expression, it then becomes all the more very, very shameful that it's this older generation that are now in the leadership of national institutions today, of public universities today, that are now vociferously trying to cut the wings of the new generation from being able to also do what they did, which is to have the opportunity for self-expression. In any case, when you are talking about public morality, that is a very, very weak ground for imposing a dress code. Because who determines what public morality means to everybody? That same university that is talking about people's dress code, it has, what do you call it? It has beer parlors set up for the purpose of entertaining lecturers, including professors, who are members of the university management. So if professors have the right to drink beer openly within the university, with some of them even getting drunk, and then students cannot wear bomb shorts, students cannot sport earrings, cannot dye their hair, does it not show that the university management is just being it's just being mischievous and hypocritical? Because on the one hand, you tolerate drinking of alcohol, including by lecturers within the university. You even set out beer parlors that is for lecturers alone, where you see the professors even come with their girlfriends in public glare, drinking. Okay, how is that not immoral? If we want to begin to talk about public morality, then it means that we must take that across board. So that what I'm saying therefore is that the usage of public morality to try and impose a certain dress code on people is a slippery slope. What is public morality to a Christian may not be public morality to a Muslim. What is public morality to those who are religious may not be public morality to those who don't even have any religion. And obviously, what is public morality to older people is not the same thing that young people consider to be public morality. So that the OAU management should desist from this role that it wants to take up, this role of a fashion police that it wants to take up. It is not a role that befits it. Actually, it is a role that would lead the university into a crisis. Because in the process of trying to implement and enforce this dress code, the university is going to violate so seriously the right of many of its students. That dress code is going to empower ordinary security people to violate student rights. to sexually molest students. And also that in that sense, it's going to lead to a crisis. So that what I'm saying this therefore is that it is not enough for University Senate to just issue a statement and say that they are denouncing the viral document in the public space and that it does not come from them, and that they are still going to issue their own. That is not enough. The University Senate, the OAU Senate, must immediately reverse itself on this dress code. What we have said over time when the university have tried to impose this dress code is that nobody can impose a dress code on anyone. That the best thing the university can do, if it feels that there are certain students who are dressing in a way that may be a threat to what it considers to be public morality, is for the universities to organize persuasive seminars to try and educate students and staff about the importance of dressing appropriately. And what that means, therefore, is that you want to use the element of public persuasion to be able to convince those students who are ready to agree with you about that. Then the university can also use other means, including having faculties to give awards to the best dressed students, give awards to this, so that all of this can help to gradually preach to the student about what should be considered an appropriate mode of dress. But a university does not have any power under the law to impose a dress code on adults. It does not. Because a university is not a secondary school. A university is a citadel of learning where you have adults who are students, adults who are lecturers, coming together for a process of intellectual exchange. You don't impose morality on adults. You don't. That is why you see in every country, even where there are laws against smoking, when there are laws against alcohol consumption, the allowance is still provided for those who don't have any other way except to indulge in those things. So you don't pronounce morality for adults. You persuade, you encourage, you preach. So just to cut the long story short, as an alumnus of that university, I find it shameful that this is what a university that ought to be talking about, how to improve itself, how to improve learning. This is what the university concerns itself about. And I'm urging the OAU management to desist from this, very, very shameful process. And instead, completely reverse itself on this so-called dress code. If the university feels that there's a need for appropriate dressing in the university, then the university management should embark on a public awareness campaign to persuade, to encourage, to appeal. But to say that you want to impose a dress code and you want to enforce it is wrong. It's unacceptable. It's a violation, a potential violation of student rights. And the university insists on going ahead with it. Those of us who are alumni of that university, we will not mind to come back to that university to join the students to protest vigorously against those policies and ensure that it is reversed. And this is not a threat. A university, when something is your alma mater, it means that that university defines your existence forever. So that somebody cannot just come as a vice chancellor and because they are pastors in one church, begin to legislate their own view of morality. Even when in the real sense of the word, if FAEC decides to go to OAU today now, to look into the account of OAU, you are going to see that a vice chancellor and a registrar that are defending this so-called public morality are actually pilfering funds from the university account. You are going to be shocked. If the EFCC decides to throw its light on OAU account today, and I challenge the EFCC and ICPC to go and even check the public morality of the OAU Vice Chancellor and the registrar when it comes to public finance. You are going to be shocked that these people are legislating public morality, are themselves bereft of morality when it comes to public finance, when it comes to stealing public resources, when it comes to padding budgets, when it comes to bribing members of National Assembly in order for them to be able to pass OAU's budget, when it comes to bribing officials of Ministry of Education and others, so that when they come to inspect the university, or I mean officials of the National University Commission, so that when it comes to inspect the courses and programs of the university, they can give the university a clean bill of health. These are things that we know they do. And if they think that what I'm saying is wrong, and if the OAU Vice Chancellor is sure of his own public morality, then he should take up this challenge for EFCC to come and check the account of the university. Because I think we need to start from there. We know what happens in these campuses. Many of these people are talking about public morality. Some of them are sexual predators. And yet, they are talking about public morality. So it is a whole bunch of hypocrisy. And it just shows how rotten the university system itself has become, that you now have vice chancellors who have nothing to do except to begin to look at whether their student is wearing bomb shorts or wearing a earring. A university vice chancellor that has enough work on his table will not even be bothered about such a thing. So all I'm saying, therefore, in essence, is that the OAU management should stop this nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. Complete, absolute nonsense. They should stop it, they should reverse themselves. And if they don't, and that's why I'm happy that the University Student Union has publicly also denounced, the dress code. If they don't reverse themselves, some of us who are alumni, we don't mind to relocate to the university for a few days, a few weeks, in concert and in conjunction with the current student, to publicly, see to it that this attempt to desecrate the history and the image of an institution that we all take pride in, that we defeat it and we resist it. Well, it's not a random culture. It's more or less a tradition that has been set by previous generations, and new generations try to also just sustain it and continue with it. And there's nothing bad about it. It's just a way of OAU students asserting their authority on their own campus. And anytime they have guests coming who are artists, and artists who have complied with this, I've always enjoyed the acceptance, the thrill that OAU students gives to them when they perform. So I don't think there's anything negative about it. It's just a culture that OAU has maintained over time to welcome guests who come to the campus to entertain.